Talk 92.3 KTAR.
There you go, a little ice cube for you on your Friday. O'Shea. His name's O'Shea.
Ice Cube's name is O'Shea?
O'Shea.
So you learn something new every day.
Yeah, call him O'Shea. Mama calls me O'Shea. All right, good enough. You have seen now, we finally got rid of, thank you, Governor Brewer, the I-10 speeding cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 51. We have a bunch of them around town. Well, those are gone, thankfully. 101 out. But there are still traffic cameras in some cities.
Yeah.
City streets. One of the most popular things that we've seen out there are these red light cameras. Okay? And basically what they do is they trigger a picture of you if you enter the intersection. I'm trying to be technical about it. If you break the plane of the intersection, which is the crosswalk area, after the light is turned red. Doesn't take a picture of you going through yellow. Doesn't care if you go through on green. If you enter the intersection on red, run a red light, takes a picture of you, mails it to you. Good times. There's a lot of money in this. And I am of the fervent belief that this is all about money. The camera people and the city managers who are addicted to your money will tell you it's about safety. And there seems to be some arguments both ways. I'm going to make the argument, and I'm going to choose to believe the numbers that support my belief. What a shocker. Did you know that Peoria is one of the cities that has this? As of just over a year ago, they've gotten $5.5 million from red light running
tickets.
Violations, tickets.
Well, that's huge, especially when
Huge amount of money.
cities are struggling right now because people, now, foreclosing, taxes,
they will tell you it's not about the money. Sure. It's not about the money. It's about safety. Okay, well, if it's about safety, let's take a look at some of the statistics. 91st Ave and Bell. That's a pretty big intersection. I know the intersection up there, 91st and Bell. From when they introduced red light cameras to before they did it, accidents have increased 100% at that intersection. Wow. Including a 120% jump in rear end and stopped for red light collisions. That's a year-to-year jump. 100%. 75th Avenue and Thunderbird. Another one. Some people go, I know that. Accidents increased 480% when they put the cameras in. 83rd Avenue and Union Hills. Guess what? They increased only 11%. Accidents, that is. 83rd and Thunderbird, accidents increased 29%, including a 300% jump in rear-end collisions. Because here's what happens. And I'm a driver. I like to drive. I'm aware of driving. I am. I really do. I mean, I get into driving. Here's what happens at red light intersections. I'm the type of person, and if everybody else does this, great. When I'm coming up to a green light, I look at the crosswalk and see if the red light's blinking. If it's blinking, I know I'm covering the brake. I'm moving my little foot over. I drive with 2 feet because I shift. I'm moving my left foot over the brake because I know, you know what, this thing might turn yellow on me, okay? I don't think most people look at the crosswalk signal to see if the light's about to change.
I do. Well,
as evidenced by the fact they're always surprised when it goes yellow. And if it's a red light intersection, I have one driving home. I have one in Phoenix there at Pecos Road and 44th, 48th, whatever it is over there. And that thing will go to yellow. And you have yellow, lasts about 3 seconds, I want to say. If you haven't figured it out. It's between 3 and 4, depending on the city. People stand on the brakes and come screeching up to the crosswalk with all 4 wheels locked up so they don't go through a yellow light because they're so terrified of it. And if you aren't covering your brake, you all of a sudden are forced to make a panic stop because the guy in front of you just pitched it sideways, and in a cloud of smoke and a fiery hi-ho silver comes up, sliding up to the intersection. And that's the problem I have with the red light cameras, is that people, when they see yellow, we call it dynamite the brakes. Just lock the car down when you see yellow. I do not stand on the brakes when I see yellow. If I can't come to a reasonable stop like I normally would, I proceed through with caution. I mean, I'll look both, but sure. I don't run red light. I've never received a red light citation in my life. But that's because every intersection I go up to, I'm expecting the light to turn yellow, and I know when I'm at the point of no return. I understand the stopping distance of my vehicle. I understand how quick. I'm being dead serious. I know I sound like I'm bragging. I like driving. I take it seriously. I know when I cross a certain point, I'm going through this intersection even if it turns yellow. I already know. And so I don't, oh my God, it's yellow. And when you look at the statistics, I mean, for goodness sakes, What is happening at these intersections? They've cut down on the T-boning accidents of people running the red lights, and they've just increased the running into people because these people come stopping, and you see the light is yellow, and you know you can still safely go through, but the guy in front of you is on the brakes while it's still green, he's waiting for it to turn yellow so he can come to a stop.
I just don't know why we just don't admit, though, overall, that, number one, that this is about money, and number two, you're just never going to solve every problem on the roads.
You know what?
Just admit it.
You know when the first car crash happened? Soon after they built the second car.
Exactly.
It went ahead and ran into the other one, Now, do we need to be safe? Absolutely. But these cameras don't make us any safer.
No.
They haven't cut down on injuries. They haven't cut down on accidents. The only thing they've cut down on is the amount of money you have in your pocket because they are taking millions of dollars from these red light violations.
And let's just say, even as an example, that the number of accidents at a certain intersection is decreased. Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean it's because of the cameras, and it just could mean that the accidents are happening up the street, or they're happening at another intersection where there's, it's another dangerous intersection.
Well, I mean, and that's what they've done before is they've actually moved those cameras around because they
mobile ones.
Yeah, they well, even some of the stationary
ones. Okay.
They'll take them off of intersections where they say they've become safer, so you no longer need these cameras because this intersection is safer. And I'm going, maybe you're moving the cameras because, yes, there are fewer collisions. Isn't that a good thing? Don't you want to keep the cameras there?
No.
Oh, but guess what?
We can make
you're not
more
making money.
Let's go down the street.
Intersection.
Well, and they also put signs up. And I think that's what skews some of the research as well. When they talk about the people who say they make it safer, right? And I say, well, then why do you put the big signs up, warning, red light thing? Because that to me makes it less safe because people are going to change their driving habit. They're going to start standing on the brakes. And I have less concern. I feel plenty safe when cars are moving the same speed and moving in the same direction. When one car in the pack decides they're not going through a yellow light intersection, it causes problems for everybody else around them. I actually saw, I kid you not, and believe me, it took every fiber of my being not to roll down the window and read them the Riot Act. They came to a complete stop, and the light was still yellow. And I said, I wish there was a semi-truck behind you that would have plowed into you and driven you through that yellow light. You do not stop on yellow. Who told you stop on yellow? Well, it's a red light camera. I don't want to go through red light, make it a picture. You shouldn't drive, okay? You just shouldn't drive if you're stopping at yellows because I think that is dangerous. I honestly do. And I don't like red light intersections because people start making stupid decisions because they're afraid to get a ticket, and it causes problems for people who understand how to control their vehicle, who understand how to go through a yellow light, who understand that there's a point when you cannot safely stop your vehicle and you go ahead and proceed through the intersection. They understand that. Well, some people don't, and they're the ones that cause the trouble.
You know where the red light intersections are, you're going to avoid them. So you can't say on face value that the accident is going to, because how many people have avoided that intersection because they know where the light is.
And again, when you put the signs up warning them that it's there, you've skewed the research, if you will. You've turned it back around, and you can't get accurate data out of it. Hey, Dan, what is your point on this?
My point is, why in the world did the city go and change the yellow lights from 7 seconds down to 4 seconds on all these intersections?
Right.
And because
they have cut down on the amount of yellow light time. They absolutely have.
Yeah, they have. Because you used to be able to, that solid white line, like a gore line for the left-hand turn.
Exactly.
You used to be able to get to that. If it's still yellow or if it's still green, you're going to be able to make it through the intersection, no problem. But now, if you get to that thing and it turns yellow, it will turn red before you get into the intersection usually.
Right. And I firmly believe, there's no when you cut down on the yellow light time, you make an intersection less safe. Yeah. Because all that means is you have cars entering the kill box. Do you know what I'm saying? In the middle of the intersection in a shorter period of time, and that's when collisions happen, and they're doing it because they can make money off of it.
I think the reason they did it is because they could see, if we do it and shorten it, we're going to get more pictures taken.
Exactly. Look how many more millions we're going to get.
And, when you said you look at the crosswalk, and you time it, or, you especially I like the countdown ones.
Yeah, I do too, where I can see it going 10, 9, 8, I know, and then when it does that, it turns yellow, and I can say, I can make it through that intersection.
Well, some of the intersections don't. They'll count down to 0. It'll still be green, and it'll stay green for even another 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It'll be green before it changes. So I think they need to just make it uniform. Everything 7 seconds. It gives you time. If you're to that white line, you're okay. give it 7 seconds. Plus, if everyone knows I got 7 seconds, they're not going to be rushing through this.
You don't need to stand on the gas to get through the intersection, nor do you need to stand on the brakes to avoid going through a yellow. Yeah.
Make it uniform everywhere.
Yeah. There is something to be said for that, Dan, is that as you drive from city to city, municipality to municipality, the green arrows before, the green arrows after, the yellow light stays on this line, the yellow stays on, you want to have some uniformity in the world. Why don't you start with that? Because, it's very difficult to drive around the city of Phoenix and the Valley without going into Scottsdale, Mesa, Tempe. So you go into some of these different things. And the traffic laws change city to city to city. And you think that I'm really, and listen, as aware as I am behind the wheel, you think I know what the yellow light gap is on every single city or where the city line is? I don't know when I've crossed into Mesa,
Or do you have a lagging arrow, to turn or all that kind of stuff?
So I think that's the bigger problem with it. But again, let's just admit it. Rob said it best. Rob, credit for you today. Woo-hoo. This is about money. It's about money. Because if it was about safety, they'd rip the damn things out. Because the intersections with red lights have more accidents than the ones... The same intersection, with a red light camera and without, in the city of Peoria is where the last study came out, the intersections with the red light cameras have more accidents than the ones without.
Or if they were serious about safety, they would have you severe penalties on your license. Like if you get 3 of them, you can't drive anymore.
No.
If you're really serious about safety...
They
and
just
you
want your money.
The bad drivers, you don't let them drive anymore.
Right.
But we're not. And it's, it's fine. Let's just admit it, though.
Yeah. Call it what it is.
Let's just call it what it is.
Quit lying to me is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Quit holding up an orange and telling me it's an apple.
It's like,
it's
buddy,
not.
We all know what the truth is. It's just nobody wants to actually just say the truth. Well,
we just said more. I would absolutely respect more. You go, you know what? We have a budget shortfall, and we're going to try to catch you with cameras everywhere. Hey,
you're being honest.
At least they're being honest. Remind me not to drive around there. Awesome. Thank you very much for being honest. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back.